If you don't know what PMDD is, it's basically my iron, kind of try and spin it in the best way possible, but also letting myself acknowledge the fact that when it sucks, it sucks. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Erin. I post a lot of lifestyle content and I basically just give you guys a peek into my life and into my mind. So if you're interested, definitely subscribe. This week, we're going to be doing a week in my life having PMDD. If you don't know what PMDD is, it's basically premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And pretty much what that means is the week before your period, you become not you. I'm gonna read off a bunch of information off of Google because I don't want to be giving misinformation, and then I'll explain what my experience is like and you guys are gonna basically see it. A lot of people say it's like PMS just to an extreme, and I would say that is a good way of explaining it, but it's also kind of different. I'm gonna walk you guys through this and take you guys along some of the things that helped me feel better through this week. And I'm still learning how to kind of deal with it. I've only realized about a few months ago that I have this, but being aware of it has definitely made it a lot easier to handle, because when I didn't know what was going on, I really just thought that I was crazy and I didn't have it like pinpointed to a certain time of the month, and I couldn't, predict it and expect it to come, and you know what I mean, all that stuff. Whereas now that I know about it, I can definitely like deal with it better, and I can keep it in my mind, even though sometimes it's hard to remember that it's my hormones and not me. But yeah, let's get into our day. Today is Monday. Right now it's 8:45. I'm just making a little bit of breakfast. Honestly, this is just something super small. My PMDD week doesn't really start today. It will start usually on like the Thursday, but last month it started on the Tuesday. When I say started, I know it starts because I kind of just become a mess. I'm hoping I don't have to show how much of a mess I am in this video, because I don't want to show myself like crying and stuff. But I will tell you guys if I have any moments. Right now I'm like still not really quite in the PMDD week. I'm not really too worried about today, but we'll see how the rest of the week goes. I'm really hoping that this month I'm able to handle it really well. It's almost like my body feels like threatened, like I feel like I need to be more protective of myself, and then that makes me not be open about what I need or what I'm feeling, and then that ends up making conflict, which is typically what happens. So anyways, what I'm going to do right now is take my iron. This is the iron that I take. It's iron plus vitamin B complex. So this has helped a lot. My therapist actually told me that it makes a lot of sense for me to be, oh, did I shake this? I don't know if I did. It makes a lot of sense for me to be taking this. I kind of just started taking it just because I realized like I should be taking iron. And then I mentioned it to her after my PMDD week, and I was telling her that like one of the months hadn't been that bad, and she was like, it's definitely because of this, because you giving your body iron allows your body, and plus the vitamin B complex, she was saying like all women should be taking in general. She was saying that iron actually helps your body basically be able to deal with whatever's going on. I think iron has to do with your blood, like enough iron in your blood, something like that. But basically she was saying that I'm giving my body the resources it needs to be able to deal with the week ahead of me. So like my body goes through a lot this week, hormone-wise, and me taking iron and supplements is me giving my body the energy it needs to be able to deal with these things. That way I don't feel as drained and as tired and as emotionally whack, So cheers to that. It does taste like shit, but I do take the liquid because I just don't like pills, and if I'm going to be taking this every day, which I try to, not perfect, but I would rather take liquid and not have to like literally have an anxiety attack every time I take a pill. That was dramatic. I don't actually, I just like get really nervous. Okay, anyways, bottoms up. So I have a call in about 15 minutes. Right now I just have my Hydro Flask. I'm going to try and drink a bunch of this water. It's really important to stay hydrated. I'm pretty sure that you can actually help stress release through your pee. I feel like I've heard that before. And so actually staying hydrated not only like hydrates your body, which is always good, it actually helps to like release the stress out of you. So yeah, I think like your tears, your pee, your sweat, all of that actually releases like stress hormones. That's why like sometimes crying really just feels necessary. But this is the breakfast I'm having right now. I'm just having some cinnamon raisin bagels, I think that's what they're called, with some butter, toasted. I'll probably make a smoothie later on because obviously this is not very nutritious, but I just need to eat something before my call. It is now 2:56, so pretty much 3 o'clock. and I went to the gym. Today I'm feeling really good. I'm actually have a pretty good amount of energy. I just ordered sushi. I don't usually order my lunch, but I was told that we could expense our lunch today because they wanted to have a lunch in person, but we couldn't end up doing it. It was kind of last minute and like timing just wasn't working. So instead we were told we could order our dinner or our lunch and expense it. So I am doing just that. I got 2 different types of sushi. I only got like the 5-piece ones. That way I could actually get 2 different ones. And then I got a little bit of the spicy chicken, which I've never tried before.
Together, I've just been thinking about how precious time in this life is. So since I can't do the thing that I'm supposed to do,
it is now Tuesday. I just wanted to quickly jump in and give a little update. I'm still feeling really good. My energy levels are still really high. I did take my iron, but I just wanted to jump in and say so far so good. It is now Wednesday at 11:30 and I actually just finally got myself physically ready. I slept over at Clayton's house last night, and so I got home this morning and I just kind of got straight into work, had a little bit of breakfast, and then finally was able to like get myself ready, tidy up the house a bit right now. And I'm gonna talk to you guys about what we're doing today and how I'm feeling and everything. Right now I'm just taking some cranberry pills as well as my iron. I just picked up these mixed berry granola bars last time I was at the grocery store, so let's try one of these. Yum. As I said, today is Wednesday and I'm feeling good so far. Yesterday night and kind of this morning, I was having a bit of like a mood. I didn't really know what was wrong. I just kind of felt off, and I basically just expressed that. Miko wasn't in the bed, and so Clayton brought Miko in, and honestly that made me feel better right away. Something about him just makes me so happy. Having a dog is just, oh my god, it's so good for me. Like, he literally boosts my mood so much and it made me feel a lot better. But yes, I guess it's just kind of like sometimes you feel not your best and then you almost want to like find a reason for it so that it feels valid that you don't feel good. But sometimes it's important to remember just that you may not feel your best because of hormones and that nothing's actually wrong, and that like you can just remind yourself that like it's okay, you just don't feel good right now and that's what it is, and let the people you know around you that know that you don't feel that great so that like they're not in the dark. So much easier said than done though, because I have countless times of not realizing that I was actually just in a mood and finding reasons that I'm mad and just getting mad about small things and being argumentative, and do you know what I mean? So like it's a lot easier said than done, so give yourself grace. But anyways, today what we're going to be doing is Sam's coming over at around I think like 3 maybe. We're going to finish off the workday here, work a bit. Tomorrow's Thursday and that's usually, as I said before, the day that hits the hardest, but honestly I feel so good for the past few days that I feel like tomorrow is not going to be a problem. But I am just trying to like keep it in the back of my mind. I want to give you guys a few little tips of I want to give you guys a few little tips of what I do to help myself kind of prepare for this. So first of all, I always know that something I need to do when I'm having my PMDD week is ground myself. When I'm having my PMDD week, I'm very emotional. I make things bigger than they need to be. I'm very like mood swings and all of that stuff, and grounding me and reminding myself that I'm safe and I'm present and I'm here, and just like getting out of my head really helps. So I focus on doing grounding meditation, spending a lot of time outside and observing nature. I focus sometimes on crystals that are surrounded around grounding, so like carnelian and black obsidian I'm pretty sure is one, tiger's eye, just like all of the root chakra crystals and root chakra things that you can do will help. If you do that type of stuff, will help during these kind of like episodes, I guess you could say. So what I do is I have a little reminder on my phone. I have 2 alerts that go off, so 2 days before that, just to remind me that this week is kind of the week that's gonna happen. And then also I have one the day of, and it just says like, have a great week, don't forget to ground yourself. And then it has a little, I just added recently from this month, CBD, because I honestly really find CBD to be really beneficial at quieting my mind, but I forget about it all the time. So I wrote that in my note this month so that if I do start to feel like I'm getting overwhelmed or like I don't know how to handle it, or just like it gets scary if I'm being completely honest, I remind myself that I have something that I can rely on that can help me. So I just remembered that I actually do have a note on my phone of the things I wanted to bring up in this video. So the first one was the iron that I take, then the other one was CBD. The next is therapy. Therapy has helped me a lot. I know it's not always accessible to everybody. It can be expensive and just difficult. I did find my therapist through BetterHelp. I am not sponsored or anything like that. I'm just like letting you know. It was easiest for me because I wanted to do it virtually because I just felt more comfortable with that. And also, oh no, I need to throw out these flowers. There's like mold on them. Ew, that's disgusting. When did that happen to you guys? I'm so sorry. Why is there mold on them? They're not that old and they look... That's so weird. Okay, anyways, if you do have access to therapy, I would definitely recommend it. Just having someone who's there to listen to you and help to notice maybe little habits that you have throughout this week with you, and almost like have a partner throughout this. Having an actual professional that knows how to deal with this type of stuff is really helpful. I used to do therapy once a week for the past 6 months to a year, I want to say. Actually, I think it would be a year now. In the past few months, I have stopped doing it like that, and I've started doing it just the week that I have PMDD. So on the Thursday of my PMDD week, I have a call with her. I let her know what I'm thinking, and she's honestly just there to kind of listen. I might stop doing it because I think I've kind of gotten to a point where I can take it on my own, and also I feel like sometimes it's not... I don't know, I'm just at a point with therapy where it's like I don't really feel like I need to be doing it as often anymore, and I'll probably go back at certain points in my life where I feel like I need more support and guidance and like outside perspective, but for now I think I might pause it. The next thing I would say is tracking your periods. I use the app Flow. I use just like the free version, and I just track my period, and I'm also on birth control, so my period is pretty regular, which does help to be able to predict PMDD. It can definitely be a lot trickier if your periods are irregular. I could see that being different and difficult. I'm not really sure on advice with that. I would definitely just probably say like tracking your periods as best as you can and journaling how you feel during those periods of having PMDD. And then when you journal, after a few months of having these journal entries throughout this week, what I would do is during a week where you're feeling good and high energy and everything's fine, look back through those journal entries and notice any similarities that there are happening. Like if there's some topics that continue to come up, let's say like you always feel insecure that week, or you always feel like you need to change your job that week, or whatever it is, start to notice what your habits are, and also see if maybe you compare them with your period and see, okay, so it's actually the Friday of my PMDD week that is typically the worst, or it's actually the Tuesday, or try and figure it out to the best of your capability so that you know what to expect and how to deal with it. And then it helps a lot because then when you're actually on your PMDD week, if those common thoughts that you usually have come up, you can remind yourself that it's actually just this trigger and it's actually just a PMDD thing and it's not true. And then what I like to do is when I'm outside of my PMDD week, I will then reflect on the things I was feeling and see if I still feel that way and what I need to do about them, where that's coming from. And definitely still learn the things that you're struggling with throughout your PMDD week. Don't just disregard them as nothing. You can look into them, just do it at a time where you're more stable and level-headed. And another thing that I've done is actually I've written a letter to myself to read during my PMDD week. I wrote this during a week where I was feeling good and everything was fine. And in this letter, I just remind myself the things that I know I need to hear during that week. So for me, for example, I was telling myself to remember to breathe and that my breath is my power and that I can use it to help calm myself down, and I know it helps me a lot. And sometimes I forget that I have that ability to breathe and to like really fall into like my heart center and meditate and things like that. So that helps me. Another one that I give myself is reminding myself to focus on my root chakra and to ground myself, to touch grass or put my feet in the grass, or just like observe nature and just go for walks and do all that stuff. Another one is to stay lighthearted. That's something I've done recently. I used to find that during my PMDD weeks, I would become so absorbed with like literally an addiction to spirituality content and self-development content, and I would use it as almost like a coping mechanism to help me feel like I was in control and like I knew what I was talking about when I was starting to like spiral. And so I've decided to kind of like swear off of any self-development or spiritual or anything like that, any like real educational any self-educational content throughout that entire week, and to keep it lighthearted, to focus on comedies and watching YouTube videos and romance and reading books, and just keep it really lighthearted that week and not try and figure things out or dismantle my life and change everything, and just to go with the flow and like let it pass. So that's what I've been focusing on this week, and it's actually been really great. I don't really have anything else that I had on my list to include. If you guys have any questions about this type of stuff, definitely let me know. I would love to give you guys any advice on it. If you have any advice for me, please leave it down below. And yeah, I know it's hard. A lot of mental health issues and hormonal issues, or just things that you don't necessarily want to deal with but have to deal with, they suck. But I always like to think that there is a learning lesson from it, and that I was put here on this earth to experience this, and that there's nothing wrong with me, and that it's not a flaw, it's not a problem, it's not something to fix. It's just something that I have to work around and learn to live with and to kind of like embrace. And I try to take it as a message of like, okay, this week is the week that I get to be gentle with myself and really relax and give myself what I need, and yeah, kind of try and spin it in the best way possible, but also letting myself acknowledge the fact that when it sucks, it sucks. Good morning, guys. It is now Thursday morning. I just took my iron and I had a little bit of breakfast. I also did a little bit of journaling. I just did like a lighthearted journal entry. It was on who am I when no one else is watching? That was the question that I gave myself. And then I also was listening to the audiobook of The Untethered Soul. I find that when I'm having rougher times, especially during PMDD weeks, I was talking to you guys about how I don't want to have anything super heavy. And I mean, that is kind of like spiritual, but it is also kind of like lighthearted. And I only listened to a little bit before I realized like, oh wait, I said I wasn't gonna listen to anything having to do with like self-development or anything like that. So I turned it off, but it was very lighthearted, and it's more of like a happy lift mood booster type book, not so much like dark and dramatic, if that makes sense. But anyways, that was what I've done so far. I'm still feeling really good this week so far, which I'm really happy with, and also a little surprised. Every month is different. Every month is different based off of how I'm treating my body, whether or not I've been going to the gym, getting out in nature enough, also whatever's happening in my life, if there's any conflicts with people, or if I'm really stressed a certain week, or if anything's happening. I have noticed that with little inconveniences or I guess conflicts in my life, whether it's with lash clients, for example, or just like anything, I have been a little bit more emotional towards it. Like, it has been a little bit more frustrating for me to deal with compared to when I usually am just like, oh, like whatever, I don't care, it's just part of it, you know what I mean? So that's something I'm keeping in mind. I'm still like doing good and everything, staying on track. I'm gonna go to the gym in about 30 minutes because right now it's 11:30 and I haven't put on any of my gym clothes or anything. So I'm gonna get changed and head to the gym. My main thing during PMDD week is taking care of my body and trying to make sure that I'm staying in my routine. And the gym is usually the first thing to go. And then second would be like drinking water. I like start to slack on maintaining my health when I'm having this week, and that's like the most important week to take care of it. So I'm really happy that this week I've actually already gone to the gym, and now I'm going to the gym twice. So I've hit my goal pretty much of, I haven't gone yet, but you know, I've hit my goal of going twice in the week. So I'm happy about that, and I think it's just like a big reminder for me to continue to do that every month, because the months that I don't, I definitely have a big difference body-wise and mentality-wise. Probably also just like getting out of the house and going to the gym and having a different environment, because I do work from home. That's my update. I'll let you guys know if anything else changes. I'm sorry if this video, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit more informative and kind of like my tips and not so much of a vlog. Hopefully it was interesting. Hopefully it helped you guys a bit. I just got home. I'm like deep in thought. I'm definitely... I said I wasn't gonna let myself do like, you know, reflection and all that stuff. And I got a few things and I really didn't get that much. It was like, I think a little over $60. Now just thinking about how expensive things are, and you know, everyone's on the same topics with inflation and everything. Everyone's talking about how things are ridiculously priced. Sorry, how things are ridiculously priced, and you know, you know the state of the world. You're living in it. But I just had a little thought that I want to share with you guys. If you go and you buy something, or you're spending money on gas or groceries or whatever it is, and you're like, damn, that was a lot of money, try and switch it into being grateful that you're able to afford how much it was. I know that can be hard because it is expensive. What I bought is not $60, but I'm also very grateful that I'm able to buy this. You know, like I could have walked in there, seen how much everything was, and then been like, I physically can't afford to buy food. So I'm grateful for the fact that I was able to even purchase the food in the first place. And switching your mindset on everything you buy, whether it's the little stupid cleaning supplies you have to buy for your house, and the things that aren't enjoyable to purchase, but you have to purchase because you need, be grateful for the fact that you can purchase them, whether it's on a credit card, whether it's money that's borrowed, whatever it is, be grateful for the fact that you're able to bring it home with you, because that definitely does play a part into switching your mindset into an abundance mindset rather than like a fear and lack mindset. It helps a lot. It changes your perspective on many things in the world, not just money. It's now 7:39. I had my client and I just finished therapy right now. We officially decided to put a stop to my therapy sessions. We're basically gonna do therapy sessions whenever I need them. So like if something comes up and I feel like I need to talk to someone, or I need to talk to her, or I need help with something, then I'll just book the appointment on the fly instead of having a continuous day that I have an appointment with her. And I don't know if I filled you guys in on this earlier, but I was feeling a little, I think I did tell you guys about this. I was just having a little bit of like thinking about my childhood and thinking about men and how scary men are. Yeah, I think I talked to you guys about this. Basically, I was just getting in, not necessarily in my head, but like I was getting introspective, which is the word that my therapist used, which is a good word because I'm not overthinking anything. I'm just observing what I was thinking, you know what I mean? And then I realized like, okay, this is your PMDD week. Maybe let's like make it a little lighthearted now. Let's take it back a bit and have a good night. We don't need to like solve world hunger right this second, because that's literally how I get. I literally get to a point where I'm like, I need to fix everything in the world. Like, yeah. And it's just like, that's not gonna happen. Like, right now, you need to eat dinner, so eat dinner. I think I'm gonna end it right here. Definitely subscribe to my channel if you guys wanna see more weeks like this. I'll definitely film maybe a few weeks going forward to show you guys what my PMDD weeks look like. If you guys are interested in these videos, they definitely look different every single month. Some months I'm literally in bed the entire week. Not in bed because I'm working, but like on the couch and just being very sluggish. The iron does definitely help. Yeah, I'll take you guys along in the future so you guys can get a real look at some of the weeks that aren't so bright and bubbly and haha hee hee at the park frolicking, you know? So anyways, I really thank you guys for coming along on this week with me. I really feel like talking to you guys throughout this week made me feel a lot more calm and like aware of how I was feeling. So it might be a good idea for me to honestly just like record on my phone, or even for you to record on your phone when you're having a moment where you feel like you need to talk to someone, and just like update people, whoever is gonna watch, even if you delete the video, nobody then, on how you're feeling, and it might help you feel a little bit more at ease because it's out. So thank you guys a lot. You guys really made this week a lot better for me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Please subscribe and also like the video and comment down below if you have anything you want to say to me. Okay, bye.